Let's just wait and hear what they have to say. All right. So we were having a major debate about the data, right? So we know with our signposts, we know we're supposed to pay attention to numbers and stats. And so Sean Stable was doing a really good job paying attention to the numbers and stats, and that kind of grew into a bigger conversation around this paragraph. So if you could take a look at this, either in front of you or up here, it says, in the 2011-2012 school year, for example, Black and Latino students represented 16 and 21% of high school enrollment nationwide, respectively, according to the Education Department. But they were only 8% and 12% of the students taking the advanced level math class calculus. Could someone take a risk and summarize for us basically what that means? Kevin, what do you think?
It means nearly half of the Black students are enrolling into the AP classes.
Say that a little bit louder.
Nearly half of the Black students nationwide is applying and going into AP classes or advanced level math classes.
How did you arrive at that math?
Well, 16 divided by 8 is 2.
Agree, disagree? All right. If we could listen, Evelyn, could you talk to us about your thinking? Listening.
I disagree because it's saying from, so there's, okay, nationwide there's 100%, right? It's all the students, and then 16% of that 100 is Black students, and then under that you can look at 100% of Black students. Out of that 100% of Black students that are enrolled, only 8% of that just subset of students is taking AP classes or advanced level math.
So in your math, David, how many students would that be if we followed that line of math?
Would be only one student.
That would be one student for
1.2. 1.2.
out of 100 students.
What?
Or
No.
okay.
Math for me.
All right, saying they were only 8%. So it's saying out of like if you were to put it at 100 again, there were still like you would have 16 here, 16 total Black students. If there were only 100 students, 16 total students, and then the advanced class had 100 students. 8 of them were taking the advanced class.
No.
Yes, bro.
I want to hear from other tables. Do you want to scribe it for us? You can, yeah. Evelyn's going to scribe it. Grace. Listening. Can you come up and, yep. Grace.
I think Evelyn's correct because it's like 60% is how many Black students are in the school, but then 8% of that 16% of the Black students is taking that class.
So can you summarize, what does that mean?
Basically, there's only like few Black students and Latino students are in the school, and then fewer are even getting in the percent of the Black and Latino students. Only 8% of those Black and Latino students are taking the advanced level math class calculus.
Can I do the math?
I want to hear from Jefferson.
I
Just
think,
whatever you want to do.
yeah, simple way, going back to like that thing out of 100. So
Listening?
if it says that there's 60% of total Blacks in the school, and then when you think about that 60%, if there's 100, you just say that there's 8 out of the 100 Blacks taking that class.
So what does that mean?
So like only like a very minimum amount of all the Blacks in the school are actually taking part in the advanced math class.
So, therefore, how does it change our understanding of the article whether we read the data one way or the other? Would that mistake cause us to have a misunderstanding or have a understanding? What do you think? Melissa, you were nodding yes. How would it change if we had a misunderstanding about that math?
Because if it was half of the students, that's not really like that bad of a number. But like 8 out of 100 is not so good.
So it seems like paying attention to this signpost really impacts the understanding of the article. Raymond?
Alright, so I gotta change my answer, and I gotta hear it with David and Evelyn over here. That statistical number seems more legitimate than if you have 50% of the students in the class, because in the previous page, it talks about how like one of the daughters didn't get in because of her color, and if that's the case, then why would you have a higher percent of chance of a student to be in that class rather than have a lower number of a student to be in that certain class? So basically, I feel like the number statistical on the board on there is more seeming that it seems more legitimate than what Sean was talking about earlier. Because
You're talking about what Evelyn just put on the board?
yeah, that seems more legitimate because it gives you less amounts of students. That makes so much sense.
Well, because it's funny because it's a number and stat, so it's a signpost in that sense. But it's also contrast and contradiction. Because remember, the contrast and contradiction is when you realize that there's a discrepancy, like something's not quite right about it, or you're like, this data is very different from that data. And I heard the back table saying that yesterday, like, wait a minute, why is this data so different from that data? And that's kind of what prompted them to talk. Sean, you have a lasting comment?
Well, I just want to say this is 2 schools in New York, right?
Yep,
This one, right?
yep.
And then this one's nationwide. So I was thinking, in New York, it's a majority of maybe black students in the school. So maybe you would get like the skewed numbers like that. But nationwide, you don't have any other nationwide sources, so you wouldn't know how it's doing in other nationwide schools. Like this school, for example, you could say that most of the kids in AP classes are black and Latino, but that's not in here. So it's like, it's only accounting for the little when it's not talking about the many.
I think your line of thinking was completely logical, and I love the fact that you were using your prior knowledge to make your inferences. You're thinking to yourself, okay, well, maybe location or school district impacts. We're gonna have to come back to this, unfortunately, but nice work with the thinking, guys.